We've got a Fox News alert for you tonight. House Republicans are moving now to impeach the Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. What do we make of this? Well, for an analysis, we bring, we think, one of the most balanced people in Washington, Jonathan Turley, professor at George Washington University Law School. We don't even know his politics. We can't even guess at them. We're not going to guess at them. We just want to know what he makes of this. Professor, good to see you. What do you make of this?
I'm not a big fan of it. It's a serious problem when you go from dissatisfaction to sort of DEFCON 1, and that's really what impeachment is. It's a perilous path to take. The last time we really did this was in 1876 with William Belknap, and that was a case of clear bribery. This is the type of disagreement that occurs between the branches. Now, having said that, I think that the Republicans have a legitimate gripe here. I do think that the Justice Department has a bad record in what they have redacted, their slowness in producing material. So I get all that. And that may be a basis for contempt. But you don't want to lower the standard for impeachment to make it a routine tool in which you could use when you have a gripe with someone in the executive branch.
Wouldn't it be more effective to first make your case in public slowly and clearly so that voters understand what you think this official has done wrong?
I think that's exactly right. Look, even though I disagree with what Rosenstein has done so far, I don't think he's done enough in that sense. He actually has produced more information than most of his predecessors. And so the case is not particularly strong in terms of history. But I think that these Republicans have to think very seriously about what they would create here. The framers made impeachment difficult for a reason. They don't want impulse buy impeachments. They don't want this to be a visceral reaction. And I'm afraid I'd put this in that category.
We're about to see a lot more impeachment potentially if the Democrats take the House, I would say. So I want to ask you about this Cohen tape. So we learned last night on another channel, which breathlessly played this again and again, that the President of the United States, once a casino owner in Atlantic City, had at one point consorted with loose women. And I don't want to shock our viewers, but that's what we learned. What do we make of the tape itself, the leaking of it? Is this within the law? Are there ethical or legal implications of this?
Well, it is likely within the law in the sense that New York is a one-party consent state. So as long as Cohen is a consenting party on that conversation, he makes it under the wire. The ethics issue is much more serious. I consider this to be a flagrantly dishonest and disloyal act by a lawyer. It's not the first time I have been shocked, frankly, by Michael Cohen's style of practice, if you can call it that. But most lawyers would find this deeply unethical. The ABA years ago lowered the standard. At one time, this would be a clear unethical act under the ABA rules, under state rules. The ABA sort of created an ambiguous standard. But the interesting thing is New York is one of those jurisdictions that has been very strong on this type of secret taping. They did say in 2003 that it's not immediately clearly unethical, but they said that that's only because sometimes a lawyer might have to tape something because of the great societal risk that a conversation might have. But they said you can't do this as a routine matter. That would be unethical. And this strikes me as well over the line as to what he has done.
I knew Michael Cohen, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I have to say I always wondered, like, why would you hire Michael Cohen as your personal lawyer? Like hiring Bernie Madoff as your accountant. Pretty unwise, I think. Professor, great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks.